A YouTube channel that is 5 years or so old. Did you used to post content onto YouTube, but no longer do? You may qualify as an old school YouTuber, and as a result, a video a week, it's all we ask. Keep a motherfucker motivated. Comment down below if I need to sub you up, and I'll be happy to watch your bullshit, as I'm happy that you're watching mine. This is a video response to P226 Nut. How's that for a blast from the past, y'all? In the video, we talk about the death of the Republic, and it seemed to be only about 10% of the video. I will attempt to put a link in the description. YouTube's been tricky about cut and paste in links. It's not as easy as it used to be. I've got to trick it, move the link to notes, and then from notes, then to the description. But I will do my best for you so you can see what the hell I'm talking about. But the video itself is about 10% of the Republic failing and then 90% of why prep. So I will say why or how I think a Republic could fail. And it has to do with a loss of faith. Meaning that there used to be a time when we could submit to an authority. And I don't mean that in a way of oh no, I must bow down, I must bend the knee, as they say in Game of Thrones. It's not what I mean. What I mean more is, how do I put this? If a entity says something that's supposed to be in charge of it, it should be the truth. It should be the straight dope. Frankly, beginning with Bill Clinton and that bullshit of perjuring himself all the way to more modern times of COVID, the powers that be have chipped away at the, what's the word I'm looking for? Not accountability, but the integrity of those authority figures. You know, you would think that in the case of a so-called medical emergency, that you can rely on the nerds, you can rely on the smartest people in the room to give you the straight bullshit. But the internet, unfortunately, or fortunately allows us to see the receipts. You can actually see the bullshit behind the curtain, and they just can't get away with it. And whatever the so-called national government is now, I think the architects of that system, the framers of that system, I don't think they anticipated the democracy of the internet, the democracy of true freedom of speech. And it's having trouble adapting. And that's where it's possible that our republic could end as we know it. Locally, though, it may not make a difference. And I've had a theory for the longest time that, you know how whenever the budget comes up and they always seem to face government shutdown, and they even shut it down, but they always find a way, right? I've had a theory for the longest time that the reason they don't let that government shutdown go too long is because we could realize in the long run they ain't doing shit. Were they kicking some extra bucks to build a bridge that it would take a local magistrate a little bit longer to make? Or a place that has no business having a bridge anyway, and you're artificially pumping up a community and an economy? Yeah, fuck that. As for prepping for it, I don't think you can. Given my own experience, and let's say the collapse of society is a disaster, there's not much you can do in the long run, because the problem isn't want in your own self. The problem is want in your fellow man. There comes a time when there's things that you cannot do for yourselves or others cannot do for themselves, and things get ugly. And it's about a 2-week span. 2 weeks without electricity, you're fucked. This generation growing up, imagine 2 weeks without the internet. You know, people that have turned themselves into internet clicking zombie cyborgs that at least 50% of their intellect, if not more, is subletted to their electronic devices. It's not a good look, and you cannot prepare for it. All the dry goods in the world, where you're going to live in a fucking hole and eat ramen noodles for the rest of your life, that ain't fucking living. You know, in our case, we rebuild, we stay local. That's what you can prep for. You know, meaningful relationships with your neighbors. That's a good thing. To the rest, man, the news is all bullshit. And man, it's not seeming to get any better.